Top 15 Worst Movies of 2016. New Year's celebration is over, so now it seems the perfect time to take a look at the year 2016. Let's see how this year will be remembered in the world of cinema. But, instead of discussing the best feature films of 2016, let's see which movies were the worst. But, how to decide which movies deserve to hold this infamous title? It seems fair not to judge them subjectively, but check what most people think. That is why the 15 movies in this list are only those with extremely poor ratings on IMDb, given by at least 1,000 users. 15. The Last Heist. A bank robbery goes horribly wrong when the robbers realize that there is a serial killer among the hostages. How can a plot like this be bad? Obviously, it can. It seems that the budget of $10 million simply wasn't enough for this type of thriller. 14. The Remains. Unlike the previous movie on the list, The Remains is completely lacking creativity. This is a horror movie that seems to have used all of the cliches of the genre. A family moves into an old house, tainted with evil ghosts. 13. Zombies. Here's another movie whose director didn't care much about creativity. The sci-fi horror seems very predictable, as even its name is a spoiler. Still, there is an interesting thing about it. Instead of human zombies, this film features undead animals. 12. Beefeater. One of the cheesiest films of 2016, Beefeater was both written and directed by the prolific Indian filmmaker, Aditya Chopra. It's rather surprising that the man who directed Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge with Shah Rukh Khan managed to create such a disaster as Beefeater. 11. Hotbot. According to the people behind this movie, Hotbot is a hilarious coming-of-age. Okay, sure, but only to those who haven't watched Superbad, American Pie, or in fact, any other comedy movie that has rating better than 3.4 on IMDb. 10. Osman Pazarlama. You probably haven't heard about Osman Pazarlama, not because it's a Turkish movie, but because it's really horrible. The plot does seem catchy. It is about a man looking to do his ordinary job in an unusual way. However, the only unusual thing about this movie is how boring it is. 9. Sniper, Special Ops. The king of B-movies is back. Steven Seagal stars in Sniper, Special Ops, a low-budget movie with an ultra-thin plot that doesn't even try to be realistic. The fact that it took only 20 days for the movie to be complete shows how much effort was invested in it. 8. Tsunami. The makers of Tsunami wanted it to be an emotional drama that teaches about true love. What they did instead is create a movie that can only make you fall asleep. 7. Meet the Blacks. Does this movie mean that the blaxploitation is back? The answer is no, although filmmakers did their best to include almost every racial stereotype. The good news is that Meet the Blacks was banned by the critics and audience alike. The bad news is that this film made over $9 million, which is 10 times its budget. 6. Mastiff. Sex sells, this is what every marketer will tell you. Unfortunately, the rule doesn't apply to Mastiff, a sexploitation comedy that failed miserably at the box office. It seems that people simply weren't ready to listen to bad jokes and vulgar 18+ humor. 5. Independence Day. This is a rip-off of a movie with similar name, Independence Day. Note that only 2 letters make the difference between these two films. And the budget. And the actors. And the plot. Actually, there's a huge difference between the two. Independence Day definitely deserves its 1.9 IMDb rating. 4. From Vegas to Macau 3. This is the final installation of the Chinese crime comedy trilogy. The first part was filmed in 2014 and was received relatively well. The second, not so much, while the third was a complete disaster. Still, despite getting the 1.8 rating on IMDb, the movie made $166 million in the box office in 2016. 3. Kool Hain Hum 3. Here's another sexploitation movie that showed that voluptuous actresses and cheesy jokes won't make profits after all. It's about a porn actor who creates a fake family in order to impress his girlfriend's parents. 2. Smolensk, 2016. I'm not totally sure whether Smolensk belongs to this list. Although it didn't make the headlines, this independent movie raises quite a lot of questions. This movie deals with an alternative version of the 2010 Polish Air Force crash, in which the President Lech Kaczynski died. Basically, the movie suggests that the crash was not an accident. The controversial plot might be the reason why more than 1,000 users gave it a negative grade. It's either that or the movie is a complete conspiracy theory rubbish. 1. Avada. Admittedly, I had some doubts about the previous movie on the list, but when it comes to Avada, I am 100% sure it deserves to be here. Avada is by far the worst movie of 2016, which is why it's no surprise it has the worst possible score on IMDb. This low budget was filmed in Brazil, but even the bad costumes and poor camera quality wouldn't mean much if the plot was alright. But, the plot is just horrible. A fairy is looking to get her wings back by going on a mission, which apparently involves using every single comedy movie cliché.